Hey everyone, what's going on? Thanks for tuning back into Relevant Jukebox, and today we're going to talk about the newest remix album from 100 gecs, 1000 gecs, and the Tree of Clues. So, the experimental duo of Dylan Brady and Laura Les are back with a remix album, and over the past couple years, I don't really think I could say there was a record that shook things up more than what 1000 gecs did last year. Seemed like music fans across the entire board were either coming out and praising or absolutely dismissing their record. I really did enjoy the record, and I am still really curious to hear what a follow-up to 1000 gecs is going to sound like. But for now, we have the Tree of Clues here, which sees the duo teaming up with a really impressive and eye-popping feature list over here, remixing a lot of those 1000 gecs tracks, and also a couple new ones to boot. You have A.G. Cook, Charlie XCX, Kiro Benito, Rico Nasty, Dorian Electra, Injury Reserve, just to name a couple making an appearance on here. Oh, and how can I forget, Craig Owens, Nicole Dollanganger, and Fall Out Boy. Yes, you heard that correctly, Fall Out Boy appearing on a remix of Hand Crushed by a Mallet. And truthfully, the track overall is just okay, actually. I mean, Patrick Stump comes in pretty prominently right in the beginning. Thankfully, they didn't put any effects on his vocals, but man, it gave me like bad aftershock to hearing like Fall Out Boy when I was a teenager. Thankfully, he does only sing the first hook of the track, which ends up kind of like fizzling out with like Craig Owens not really making a memorable appearance, and Nicole Dollanganger just briefly used as well. Now, for a remix album, I'm not really entering any of those expecting the remixes to surpass the originals. And on Tree of Clues, that is definitely the case. None of these tracks, in my opinion, are better than the original takes. However, sometimes remixes can kind of take a new form of their own by reminding you of the best parts of the original cuts and just presenting them to you in like a new way that sounds kind of refreshing. And this record does have a few of those cuts. Like take the first 3 tracks, for example, like A.G. Cook's Money Machine remix, also the really fun Ringtone remix that's got like Rico, Kiro, and Charlie on it. And also the Injury Reserve remix of 745 Sticky I thought was pretty cool, even though that kind of ends up sounding like some kind of Brockhampton track. Also, I really dug Dorian Electra's remix of Geck to You. I like the embellishments that they added to this cut, and the end breakdown is a lot better and a little more grandiose in my opinion, but there is just like a lot of filler on this remix album, unfortunately, and some tracks on here just come off and sound so blown out that it actually doesn't sound good. Like the No Thank You remix of Hand Crushed by a Mallet, for example. They probably could have just left this one on the cutting floor in my opinion, but what ended up distracting me overall is just like how bloated this remix album is. There's just too many versions of the same tracks going on here. I kind of wish that they just took the best take of each track and then ordered the album in the same order of 1000 gecs instead of kind of like throwing it all over the place. And as for the 2 new cuts that make this track list towards the end, Came to My Show and Toothless, I thought they were just okay overall, honestly. They're entering mumble pop territory at this point. They're both 2 pretty straightforward pop tracks, with Toothless being my favorite of the 2. I did really like the outro and how larger than life it sounds, gets really huge and colorful. But honestly, Came to My Show, I mean, that was probably the first time I've heard a 100 gecs track where I actually got kind of turned off by the vocals. The refrain is pretty catchy on the track overall, but when Laura reaches down and tries to sing it with more conviction, it just comes off like wicked annoying and ear-piercing, honestly. But overall, I mean, I did have fun with a lot of the tracks on this album over here. The sound plays a little more expansive, and the cool ideas that kind of pan through show a lot more character. And I mean, of like the tracks on here that are more on the blown out side, the only one that really worked for me was the Black Dresses remix that showed up of 7/4 Sticky. I thought that one was pretty cool. But one of the big takeaways I did have from this release is that on a future album, I really hope to see 100 gecs making their song structures a lot more abstract, like that A.G. Cook remix of Money Machine, because I think it will keep their sound a little more refreshing. And with that being said, I'm feeling a 7 over here on 1000 gecs and the Tree of Clues. Now, this did come out on a couple really cool, colorful vinyl presses. I'm gonna have links down below in my description box. 200 gecs merch store, so you can grab that. There was one variant that already sold out. I do believe there's still the clear with rainbow splatter available with some t-shirt bundles. And if you guys listen to this 100 gecs remix album, let me know what you thought about it in the comments down below. And as always, guys, thank you so much for watching. Make sure to like and share. And if you want more content from me, hit that subscribe button. Peace.